Right now, at this very moment, there's a 30% chance your fuel pump is already dying, and you don't even know it. The worst part, you're probably the one killing it every time you pull into a gas station. Some of you will recognize yourselves immediately. Others will realize you've been destroying your fuel system for years without knowing it. But here's the good news. Once you know what not to do, you can stop the damage today. Let's go. Most drivers think that fuel pumps fail randomly. The reality is they don't. When you constantly drive with your fuel gauge hovering near empty, you're not just risking running out of gas. You're actually starving your fuel pump of the one thing it needs to survive: gasoline. But here's what most people don't understand. Your car's fuel pump sits at the bottom of the fuel tank, and it relies on gasoline for two critical functions. The first is cooling. The second is lubrication. When fuel levels drop too low, something devastating happens. The pump loses its coolant bath and starts to overheat. That heat accelerates internal wear faster than you think possible. But wait, there's more happening below the surface. When you run on fumes, you're doing something else that most mechanics won't even tell you. You're stirring up sediment. All that debris that normally sits undisturbed at the bottom of the tank, it gets agitated and sucked directly into your fuel's injectors. This contamination clogs your entire fuel system, forcing your pump to work harder, and this accelerates failure by years. According to repair data, nearly 30% of all fuel pump failures trace directly back to chronic low fuel conditions. I spoke to a mechanic who told me most of the pumps he replaces show clear signs of thermal stress and overheating. When your pump finally dies, you're looking at $400 to $900 in repair. Some vehicles even run over $1,500. But here's what you need to do starting today, and this is very crucial. Refuel when your tank reaches 1/4 full, not when it hits empty, not when the warning lights come on. 1/4. This simple habit keeps the pump cool, extends its lifespan by years, and protects your entire fuel system from contamination. So now you know the first killer. But here's the second mistake that's even more common. After the fuel pump clicks, you squeeze in a little more fuel, maybe 2 more clicks. You feel smart because you got those last few cents of value. What you don't realize is that you just flooded your emissions control system and triggered a chain reaction of expensive failures. But I need to explain exactly what's happening inside your car right now if you do this. The pump clicks when the tank reaches its engineered capacity because fuel needs room to expand when it's warm. Your fuel tank isn't completely solid. There's a small airspace deliberately left at the top. This space is critical. When you force additional fuel into that space, you exceed the tank's design parameters by a significant margin. That excess fuel overflows directly into a charcoal canister. This is where it gets dangerous. The doom of all warning lights activate. The forbidden check engine light. Your engine starts rough idling, you experience hesitation during acceleration, your fuel efficiency tanks, you panic, you pay a mechanic $200 for diagnostics, and they tell you it's an evap system issue. Replacing a flooded canister costs between $300 and $600. Some shops charge even more. The irony? You were trying to save money. The correct refueling technique is this. Let the pump click once, then stop immediately. Your vehicle is engineered for that exact fuel level. Respect the engineering, and your fuel system rewards you with years of trouble-free operation. But now, I need to tell you about the one mistake that's destroying fuel systems across the entire country. Most drivers leave their engine idling while refueling because it feels quicker and more convenient. They're in a hurry, so they don't think it matters. They couldn't be more wrong. This habit destabilizes your fuel and emission systems in ways that creates cascading damage. Each time you refuel with the engine running, these sensors experience what's called a pressure shock. After dozens of refuelings, these shocks accumulate, the damage is slow and invisible, which is why you don't notice it until something fails. The fix requires only 30 seconds of your time, and it prevents literally years of damage. Turn off the ignition before you start refueling. Let the fuel system stabilize completely. Pump your gas. That's it. This single habit prevents recurring pressure shocks and keeps every component operating smoothly. Your fuel system will run reliably for years longer. But there's one mistake that's happening at gas stations right now. One of the most overlooked refueling mistakes happens at a specific moment, when you fill up immediately after a tanker truck has been at the station. Most drivers don't even think about this timing. Mechanics, however, consider it a major red flag. Let me explain what happens inside those underground tanks. When fuel delivery trucks refill the station's underground storage tanks, they create massive turbulence inside those containers. All the sediment, water droplets, rust particles, and debris that normally settle quietly at the tank bottom get violently stirred into suspension. This contaminated fuel temporarily flows through the station's distribution lines. If you pump gas during this window, or even within an hour after the truck leaves, something terrible happens. You're pulling contaminated fuel directly into your vehicle. Rust particles, water, and debris that should have remained at the bottom of that underground tank. This contamination leads to specific, measurable damage. Your fuel filter gets clogged and reduces flow rate. Your injectors get restricted, causing misfires and poor acceleration. Fine particles accelerate fuel pump wear. Over time, your engine performance degrades noticeably. You end up with expensive repairs that trace directly back to a single bad refueling decision. Here's what mechanics actually recommend, and almost nobody does it. Before you refuel, look at the pump area. Do you see a tanker truck actively unloading? If yes, go somewhere else. If one recently left, wait at least 2 or 3 hours before refueling. This small precaution prevents contamination from sabotaging your entire fuel system. But there's another invisible killer happening at the pump right now. Your owner's manual specifies a fuel grade for a reason. It's not a suggestion, it's a requirement based on your engine's compression ratio and design. Yet millions of drivers either ignore this requirement or deliberately use the wrong octane to save money. Here's what happens if you don't match your fuel to your engine. If your manual requires premium 91 or 92 octane fuel and you consistently fill up with regular 87 octane, you're pulling your engine under stress it wasn't designed to handle. The technical reality is this: high compression engines need higher octane to prevent pre-ignition, which are explosions that chip piston rings. They damage spark plugs, even accelerating internal wear at an alarming rate. Over time, this degrades engine longevity dramatically. You're cutting years off your engine's life with every fill-up. But here's the flip side that people don't talk about. If your car requires regular fuel but you keep buying premium, you're actually wasting money without any benefit. Consumer Reports conducted extensive testing and found that premium fuel offers absolutely zero performance advantage in engines designed for regular fuel. You're literally throwing money away at the pump. The solution is straightforward and it's one most people ignore. Check your owner's manual. Use the specified octane. Your fuel system will perform better and last years longer. But now I need to reveal the one mistake that's costing you money every single week. Almost 1 in 5 cars on the road needs a new gas cap. This sounds trivial, but it's not. It's one of the most expensive overlooked maintenance items because your gas cap plays a critical role in fuel system pressure. When your gas cap seal is cracked or missing the rubber gasket, something immediate happens. Air enters the tank and disrupts pressure balance. Your evap system relies on precise regulation to function correctly. When the balance fails, your engine computer triggers a check engine light. But the real damage is invisible. Fuel vapor begins escaping from the tank instead of being properly managed. You're literally losing gasoline through the cap. According to the Department of Transportation, a loose or damaged cap can cost you approximately 30 gallons per year in lost fuel vapor. That's more fuel loss than from underinflated tires or wrong oil viscosity combined. But here's what happens next that most people don't expect. Many drivers panic when they see a check engine light and pay $200 for diagnostics only to discover the problem is a $10 damaged gas cap. Before every fuel purchase, visually inspect your gas cap. Check the rubber seal inside. Make sure it screws on tightly and locks with a firm click. If it's cracked, if the rubber gasket is missing, if it doesn't seal properly, replace it immediately. This preventive measure protects your emission system, saves fuel, and costs almost nothing. Now, I need to tell you about the one refueling mistake that's costing you over $1,500. Here's what most people don't understand. One refueling mistake is bad, but the combination of multiple mistakes happening repeatedly is catastrophic. When you combine driving on low fuel, refueling with the engine running, using the wrong octane, overfilling occasionally, and refueling at low-quality stations, your fuel system becomes progressively contaminated. Injectors become clogged. The fuel pump accumulates debris and sediment. The evap system becomes saturated with liquid fuel, and the gas cap seal degrades. Refuel with these practices in mind today. Keep your tank above 1/4 full, actually stopping after the first pump click. Using the octane your manual specifies. Turning off the engine before refueling, choosing quality stations, and inspecting your gas cap regularly. The truth about your fuel system is this: most damage doesn't happen dramatically. It accumulates silently through repeated mistakes that compound over years. But the great news is breaking these habits doesn't require expensive tools or complex knowledge. Start applying these secrets today, and you'll feel your engine running smoother and more efficiently within weeks. Your fuel system will last significantly longer, and you'll avoid thousands in preventable repairs. If this video helped protect your car, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear these refueling secrets. Your engine will thank you every single mile. Thanks for watching and take care.